Hi YouTube, Brian James on my path to Paphos here, and this is a bit of an unusual video for you tonight as I'm doing this, because it's not a video I want to particularly do, and I'm going to try and be as objective as I can on this. But I've had a lot of people asking me about this subject, both online and personally, and I've had lots of discussions recently about this with people, and it's the reason I'm out here, the reason that basically I'm not wanting to return to the UK, and some of the major things which I think are putting me off ever returning to the UK again. Now obviously when it comes to Cyprus, as I've said in previous videos, I'm a dual nationality, Irish and British, and but lived most of my life in Britain, so yes, I'm a plastic paddy. I can take all those people who are going to put those. I'll just delete those comments. But I've lived in the UK all my life, and I've been very patriotic. I spent 45 years from beginning to end in Royal Air Force uniform. Very, very proudly served my country, and if I had my time over again I would do, but I feel my country is actually abandoning me, and that's a big thing to say. And I've made a little bit of a list, and what's prompted this actually is looking at what's going on in both Ireland and the UK insofar as some of the troubles which are starting, the riots which are starting, which worries me. And this is not meant to be a political video. I'm not trying to make a political video, party political or whatever. I'm not saying the right, the left, you know, whatever, the centrists are right. I'm just saying about what I'm observing in my own home country, which worries me. Now, let's put this in perspective. Yes, I'm an immigrant, an expat immigrant, expatriate immigrant in the country of Cyprus. But I've come in through the front door. I've declared everything. I'm going for a residency through the legal channels. I have the correct paperwork, and I'm making sure that I'm doing all the systems properly to being part of Cyprus. I'm also very much in the opinion that if I come to a different country, which is Cyprus, then I have to respect their cultures. I have to respect their language. And it doesn't mean to say that I give up my culture and my beliefs, but there's a respect. I come here not to change this place into a warm version of the UK. I'm coming here, over here to be part of the Cypriot culture and to be part of the Cypriot lifestyle. And to that, since I'm living in Paphos, that means also attempting to learn Greek to my best abilities. And I'm doing all those things. So from my point of view, they're the minimums I would expect from me. And I mean minimums because there's more that I should be doing. But they're the minimums that I would expect from me to come into this foreign country, to live and to reside. So I would expect those same sort of things in the UK. But let's have a look, just a little look. As I say, this is just a list of some of the things that I've seen. I'm just going to comment on them. You may differ. I'm quite happy for you to differ in your opinions on this. If you do leave comments, please leave them below. I am leaving this open to comments for now. But if you do, try and make them pleasant, try not to be hateful. It's not a hateful post, this is quite the opposite. This is just an observational post. But try and make it not hateful either to myself or to other people on the channel. And I am quite happy to delete any that I find and block them. Well, looking at the likes of London and the big cities, every time I turn on the news, every time I've been looking for the news, and this isn't just recently, this has been over a number of years, is stabbings. Stabbings in the city, and we used to have acid attacks and things. They were always being done. And, you know, this is not on. We're not a country of that sort of level of violence in the UK. And again, I'm going to give comparisons. By the way, when I'm giving comparisons to Cyprus, yes, I know there will be incidents, there will be things. Yeah, you know, I know that you do get some trouble, but in the comparison, it's negligible. It really is negligible. So it's just not something I hear about happening over here in Cyprus. I don't recognise the cities themselves. I walk through the cities and they're not the places I used to go to. It's not just down to ethnic nature on that. This whole attitude in most of the big cities, whether it be London or Birmingham or Manchester or my own original hometown city of Newcastle, I just don't recognise them. They've taken on a different mantle to what they used to, and a lot of the culture and a lot of the character of those places has just gone, whether it's through building design or road layouts or whatever it is. It's just changed. Yes, I know I'm 63 and things will change, but the rate of change has been incredible. I saw the other day statistics from the government saying that shoplifting offences are up 54% in 2024 compared to 2023. So 54% up. That's, you know, half as much again, more than half as much again over the previous year. Shoplifting. I've seen on videos, I watch an awful lot of videos, I do a lot of research. I don't just watch mainstream media. I do an awful lot of research in all sorts of areas, whether it be reading reports or seeing videos or where it is. And when you got people who are openly, blatantly stealing from shops, going into a Greggs shop and not just taking a pasty or a pie or something, but literally clearing out fridges into baskets and then casually walking out, caught on CCTV, but they don't care. And there's people around them and they just don't care. And the staff could go out, but the staff risk their necks by going out to stop them. Now that's 54%, just to give you an idea. This is from the official national statistics, so this is the government. 90,000 recorded shoplifting offences in 2024 compared to 58,000 in 2023. We get to the situation with an awful lot of these people who are coming into the country illegally. I will not call them asylum seekers. I will not call them whatever they want me to do. They are illegal immigrants. They may be applying for asylum and all sorts of things, but they have came into the country illegally. Now, there are asylum seekers in Cyprus. I know a couple of asylum seekers very well, very personally, and they're wonderful people. It's not about asylum, it's how they do it. These people have come into Cyprus through the front door, they've declared themselves, and have applied for asylum over here. I have no qualms about that. It's the way to do it. And if somebody does need asylum, and they're going for the right reasons, they are going from political or war reasons, and they go to the UK for asylum, then yes, welcome those people properly, but they must do it the right way. Otherwise, they are just illegal immigrants. And I'm sorry, you come into the country illegally, you should be getting thrown out the country. There are ways to claim asylum and to come into the country legally. When you get some of those people who are being put up in hotels and millions, if not billions of pounds being spent in incredibly small space of time, but the culture difference is so much when female ambulance staff are unable to attend some of these places, some of the refugee hotels, for their safety, for the female ambulance staff safety, because they're a woman. This is not the UK. That's not what should be happening. So when you can only send male ambulance staff, you've lost an awful lot of your ability to provide that service. Now, I know this from personal experience. I know this from people who I personally know who've been told not to go into some of these asylum seekers, refugee hotels. And that's a ridiculous situation. When you see videos online, and I've seen it in real life as well, of places like Manchester's Piccadilly Gardens, where it's full of crackheads and people on drugs and incredible, and there's violence, the level of violence there is incredible. And then in the same place you're getting rallies, and rallies supporting illegal, prohibited groups. And I'm not taking a side on this, I'm not taking a side on it, but when a group is prohibited under law, and the promotion of that group is prohibited under law, the support of that group is prohibited under UK law, and the police allow it to happen, that's too far for me. So to be perfectly honest, when I see some of these things, I just am appalled by it. Now, I'm not saying that I'm supporting the other side. By taking a stand on this, I'm saying that groups which are prohibited under UK law, and you can look up on the statutes as to who they are. There's a big, big list. If you just put in proscribed groups at UK.gov, you'll find the full list. And when those groups are being allowed public rallies, when they're being allowed to actually promote themselves on the UK streets, then that needs to be stopped. So where is our government in stopping them? Where is everyone for doing that? Well, probably out trying to stop YouTubers from me from making comment or tweeting. When you go at the same places as well, you know, you see the Manchester, but it's London, it's Newcastle, it's Birmingham, it's all the places, and you've got these tent cities full of people who are homeless. And it seems that this is a desired way of going these days, to be allowing these people to actually be homeless. Where is the social services that we looked so much towards when I was young in the 1960s, where these people would be guided back into normal life, would be given the opportunities? And if they're given the opportunities, are they not taking them? Is it a case that the state is actually giving them opportunities, but they're choosing not to take them? I'd love to know. But I do know that they are no-go areas for the majority of the normal population. You wouldn't dare go. Most people don't go into places like Piccadilly Gardens anymore. I used to get the train and go through Piccadilly Gardens quite often when I was delivering cars. I don't think I'd want to do it now. I don't think I'd feel safe doing it now. And as I say, when you're tripping over not one layer of tents, but 2, 3, maybe 4 layers deep from a building full of people who, during the daytime, are sleeping. A lot of them are alcoholics or drug users, and just incredible situations. Why has this been allowed to happen by the people who are supposed to be looking out for us? I mentioned before, when you get hurty word tweets, which are ending up in multi-year jail sentences for people. I'm not saying I agree with those tweets. I'm not saying that they are bad. But when you get multi-year tweets for people who, multi-year sentences for people who made a hurty tweet and pushed through very quickly, you get people who are accused of rape getting suspended sentences. Really? Wrong way around, guys. Wrong way around. Now, the thing is as well, we've got CCTV everywhere. Why isn't that being used? If we have to have CCTV, which I don't necessarily agree with, because I don't trust the people who are watching it and making the decisions on that. But if we have to have CCTV everywhere, why are we not able to actually apprehend these people? When we have women who are being spat on while running as harassment, I saw videos the other day of a woman being harassed because she was out for a run and spat on by men, and really put in a very, very awkward situation. Are we really treating our British women like that? Now, when I'm on about British women, I'm on about colour or religion or anything. I'm on about people who are British people who are out doing their normal daily things. A young girl going for a run, being harassed by people who are, I would guess, from the visuals, not of origin in this country, and harassing her and spitting on her because she's a young girl out for a run. I've got to keep on reading these. I just couldn't believe what I was actually writing down. Being jailed for burning one of your own possessions, a book. The book might have been a religious book, but it's your possession, and if you are not hurting anybody else and harming anybody else, you can't burn your own book. You can't burn your own items or damage your own items because it would offend somebody else's religious views. That's a blasphemy law. And we now have blasphemy laws through the back door in the UK. I didn't think I would ever see that day. When there are 68,000 recorded rape, I can't say the word properly, but rape, in 2023, and only 5% ended in charges. 5% of 68,000 rape got actually done on that. What's happening, guys? What's happening? I really don't believe what I'm seeing. When we are told that we have to have different attitudes to illegal economic migrants, we're not talking about people who necessarily need asylum. We're talking about illegal economic migrants. They're coming over here for the money, for the better style. When we're paying taxes and they haven't paid a penny yet, they're taken from the state and being put to the top of lists like the NHS and for benefits and for housing. Why have I been paying to the government for all of my life for it to be given away to people who don't deserve to be in the UK? They've never contributed a penny, yet they take, and it's yours and my money. I just don't believe it. Can't believe it. And this is why people are asking me, why have you come to Cyprus? Cyprus doesn't allow these sort of things. You've got to prove your worth to be in Cyprus. And I think that's the right way to do it. We're getting car rammings. We've got unbelievable things happening. Cars being rammed into places where people are being run over and killed. in unbelievable situations. I can't believe that's happening in the UK, in my cities in the UK, the places I grew up. We have gangs who will do the R word, and they are targeting young children like my granddaughter, age of my granddaughter. And our daughters and our granddaughters are being targeted, not just in one place, but all over the place. The level of drug abuse everywhere is just incredible, and the government seems to be either unwilling or powerless to do anything about it. I remember when I was a kid, I hardly saw anybody who took drugs. There was one guy who was smoking dope when I was in the sixth form at school. It was a major thing. Really was a major thing. Now, if you're not taking drugs, then you're the odd one out. I'm also sick of all the DEI and positive discrimination and the silliness of all the net zero, again costing us billions and billions of the money that I've paid over my lifetime in taxes. And when you're seeing that and being forced into this DEI and positive discrimination to tick boxes, especially for organisations, the larger organisations, what's the point of that? If I'm going to be doing a certain job, if I'm fixing a radar, an electronics job, why would I need to worry about DEI? I've never worried about the people who I'm working with. I've never needed to. And I've never needed to have any forced induction into brainwashing, which is what it is. It's legalised brainwashing by the state and by big business. When you have pensioners freezing in the UK, freezing to death in the UK because our wonderful government has decided that it was going to take away basic benefits from those most in need in the UK, while giving billions, trillions maybe, out to foreign aid in foreign countries for other people who have governments that are able to launch rockets to the moon or have their own nuclear programs, yet we have to keep our pensioners who are freezing to death. I've never known such inhumanity. And finally, something which really bugs me, and that is our politicians. And I have a direct message to our politicians here, so watch out. I spent a long time as an officer in the armed forces, and it was pumped into me that integrity was one of the most important things about being an officer. To have integrity so that you did the right thing, even when no one was watching, where you took the right track and you did it for the right purposes. Yet our lords and masters, the people who were my bosses above the Air Force, our government leaders, our civil servants, have no integrity whatsoever. I see such a lack of integrity in these people that it's unbelievable. So that's it. That's all my gripes about the UK. It's not all my gripes, actually. There's an awful lot more gripes that I have about the UK, and it worries me because it's been the place which was my home, which was the home that I loved for many years. Worst thing about here is the mosquitoes, of course, biting me, but never mind. But I've moved out of my home. I've left my home. Yes, I've got sunshine. Yes, I've got good weather. But I've left my home as much as anything else to get away, to give a chance of having a better life, to meet people who are more open, to meet people who are more in belief of their own country. And I've come over here as a guest of that country by agreeing to all their terms, by living by their standards, by agreeing to their standards, and by trying to integrate into their community. Unlike what I see in the UK, where there are certain factions who refuse to integrate, certain factions who refuse to learn the language, certain factions who want to bring the worst of their world over to take over the best of my world. So I'm going to wrap this video up now. As I say, if you're going to leave comments, please do leave some comments. Subscribe if you would. I won't do too many videos like this. As I say, this is my path to Paphos. And my path to Paphos is a very positive thing, but this needed saying for me. This is the reason that I've come to this beautiful island as much as anything else. So thank you very much. Leave a comment below. Give me a thumbs up and a subscribe if you would. But as I say, the comments you leave, please try and make them decent. Don't make them hateful. I don't wish any ill feeling on anyone in the UK or here in what I'm saying. I just want to see some of the return to some of the standard values we had and some of the common decency that we had when I was younger. Something I'm finding here in Cyprus and something I'm finding is lacking in the UK. More importantly though, wherever you are tonight, sleep safe, be safe, and I'll see you again on my path to Paphos. Bye bye.